Hello, my name is Michael Fakhri and I am the UN Special Rapporteur on the right to food. This means I'm an independent expert for the UN system. I'm the eyes, ears, and good conscience on all matters regarding hunger, malnutrition, and famine from a human rights perspective. Due to the time difference between Scotland and Oregon, I'm not able to speak to you live. I want to first congratulate people in Scotland and the Scottish government for passing the Good Food Bill. When you create laws, monitoring agencies, and a national plan around the right to food, it activates all of society and government. The Good Food Bill is great, but it is still important to make sure that the right to food is ultimately incorporated into Scots law. So now it's time to roll up your sleeves and get to work. It's time to define what the right to food means for Scotland. It's about people deciding for themselves what it means to live and eat with dignity in Scotland and not let corporations or international geopolitics determine people's access to good food. In the most general terms, the right to food means that food must always be available, accessible, and adequate for everyone. Available means that there must be a stable supply of food. Accessible means that people must be able to get and make food in a way that's fair and stable, either through markets or through access to land and waterways. Adequate means that food should be good food, culturally, ecologically, and nutritionally appropriate. Most importantly, it means that people should be able to decide for themselves what is adequate. Human rights more generally means that governments should prioritize their relationship to people. Governments should listen and respond to people. They should give people the power to determine what kind of dignified life they want to live. This brings in the values of participation, non-discrimination, equality, and accountability. This report, launched today by Nourish Scotland, is an excellent example of how one could go about determining what is adequate food from a human rights perspective. It shows that determining what is adequate food is the result of an ongoing conversation and process amongst people themselves and between people in the government. Food is not just a commodity. It is the result of a set of practices. It is part of the rhythm of everyday life. We give meaning to life through how and what we eat. Who we eat with establishes the bonds that create kin and community. I was really impressed by the methodology behind the report, and I think such a process could highlight the complexity and diversity of Scottish society in a way that would lead to good policy that would fulfill the right to food. So, all that being said, how can you give meaning to the right to food? I'll focus on three things. First, I think this report shows how you have to start with meeting people where they are. In nutritional terms, we should eat an abundant amount of fruits, vegetables, and fiber, and avoid ultra-processed foods because they are high in sugar, salt, and fat. If you eat meat, it shouldn't be all the time, and the less processed, the better. Okay, but what does that mean for real life? What does it mean when you're navigating a hectic day and dealing with kids, running late for work and commuting? As this report demonstrates, start from people's reality, and through a conversation, through dialogue, you can work out what it would cost to eat well. This, of course, includes sometimes eating out, indulging for celebrations when we can, doing our best with what we have. Start with figuring out the cost of what is good enough based on today's reality. This is all before we start telling people how to change what they eat. This makes the right to food concrete for a particular country at a particular time. Second, governments also need to start with existing reality. Every government in the world is facing a debt crisis, a cost of living crisis, and a broken trade regime. Despite these structural challenges, governments can still move ahead with the right to food. In my last report to the UN General Assembly, I told governments that one good thing that came out of the first 2 years of the COVID-19 pandemic is that they have learned what works. So instead of treating measures that helped people and fulfilled their human rights as temporary measures, don't treat these measures as temporary. Treat them as a proof of concept and make them permanent programs. These are things like free universal school meals and direct cash payments. It's about repurposing existing budgets. My final point is that how we eat determines our relationship with the land, rivers, and ocean. The other thing I advise governments when I reported to the General Assembly is that local land policy and supporting local farmers and fishers is key to ensuring a strong, effective food policy. Even if a country needs to import a significant portion of food, supporting local producers and ensuring fair access to land and waterways is what keeps a country's relationship to the ecosystem strong and a food system resilient to climate change and political economic crisis. I wish you the best for today's session, and I look forward to further conversations with everyone in Scotland. Thanks.